intel community becomes easier to understand when you do consider the bosses of our intel agencies, not his intel, the ones before him. They've been out to destroy him since day one, and since they left, and since before he got elected, and after he got elected. Watch what we mean.
He is aiding and abetting our arch adversary and has failed, in my mind, to live up to his constitutional obligations and responsibilities.
What Mr. Trump did yesterday was to betray the women and men of the FBI, the CIA, NSA, and others, and to betray the American public. And that's why I use the term that this is nothing short of treasonous, because it is a betrayal of the nation. He is giving aid and comfort to the enemy.
When do we see almost a shadow government come out and say, we cannot side with the government, whether it's the cabinet or the Senate? I think that's the big question.
This president basically coddled Mr. Putin, and it was clear that he was intimidated by that situation. Whether the Russians have something on this president or not, no one really knows. But the way he behaves, there is a clear signal that the Russians have something on him.
That's the scene where families were separated. Now, look, I know we're not Nazi Germany, all right? But there is a commonality there and a fear on my part.
Now, that's not enough to make the point. Remember when Senator Chucky Schumer actually said, don't ever mess with the intel community, like never mess with them?
Taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
All right, here with reaction, former U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Joe DiGenova, conservative columnist, Monica Crowley. You know, I told you, Joe, a while back, when you say bad cops, that these were bad cops, because 99% of cops are good cops that do a lot of good, and that goes to the CIA, intel community. Now I look at a guy like Brennan, happened on his watch. I think he probably knew all about the dossier. His involvement in this is going to be very interesting. Do we really want to live in a country where the Senate leader on the Democratic side says you better not ever say anything bad about the intel community, because they'll get you?
Sean, I want to talk about 2 people. We only have so much time. John Brennan and Leon Panetta. John Brennan is a traitor, and I'll tell you why. He's the real traitor. What he did and what he has said recently about the President of the United States is despicable. He is personally responsible for the leaking of unmasked information. He was responsible for the sharing of false information to U.S. intelligence sources to get FISA warrants. He is personally responsible for the sharing of false information with American intelligence agencies. And I challenge him to a debate at the National Press Club for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours about his role in the entire pre-election. And about Leon Panetta. Leon Panetta should be ashamed of himself after what he did in Benghazi when he kissed Hillary Clinton's fanny, refused to allow forces to come to the rescue of people, and now he says that he thinks that the Russians may have something on the president to compromise him. Shame on Leon Panetta. May he rot in hell.
Wow. Monica.
From what I'm hearing, Sean, we're still in the early days of the investigation into the domestic internal targeting of Donald Trump, his associates, and the campaign. These are early days, Sean, and what we may find out is that the root of all evil may have gone through James Comey, may have gone through James Clapper, may have gone through John Brennan, may have gone all the way up to Barack Obama, or all of the above. We don't know yet, but what we do know is that they were trying to inoculate these agencies like the FBI, the NSA, the CIA by comments like Chuck Schumer saying, oh, they're sacrosanct. You can't go after them. Well, we're not supposed to be able to go after them because they're supposed to be above politics and this kind of corruption, and we now know they weren't.
Joe, this conspiracy theory, you're right. How dare they... When we just laid out all the evidence, how much tougher Trump has been on Russia than Vladimir.
Not even close.
Obama.
And you know what? You know what? There's another guy, Michael Hayden, the guy who never put his big boy pants on ever when he was DCI. You talk about a guy who kowtowed to Congress, couldn't handle the pressure. He looked for any political port in a storm. But when it comes to the worst, it's Brennan. When you go back and you look at everything that happened in 2016 and 2017, especially during the transition between the election and the inauguration, at the center of this conspiracy is John Brennan. John Brennan is a thug.
Let me ask
he
you
is
this.
a liar and he is a traitor.
If they advance a phony conspiracy theory about the president of the United States that has been tougher on Putin than Obama ever was.
You bet.
The damage, no, this is important, that he has something on Trump. You're really onto something that's very profound. The damage that they're doing to this country by doing so. And they irresponsibly throw out reckless conspiracies without any evidence.
And you know what, Sean?
Exactly,
I think those
Sean.
are their preemptive strikes. But I think there's something else going on. When you look at the document delays and all of the legal stonewalling, DOJ, intelligence agencies, number one, they're trying to hide incriminating evidence. Right? Number two, they think they may very well win in November and Democrats might control the House and therefore they can permanently eliminate any evidence of their wrongdoing. And three, it may very well be that they are trying to run out the statute of limitations on the Clintons, on FBI wrongdoing, maybe wrongdoing on behalf of the intelligence agencies.
You bet.
They're trying to run out the clock so we won't be able to go after them and prosecute
Devin
them.
Nunes is on next. He's saying that.
And you know who's going to help him do it? Rod Rosenstein. He's an evil man accompanied by an attorney general who is totally incompetent and asleep at the wheel.
Wow, powerful. But think about this. CIA agents, Schumer saying don't mess with them, they'll get you 6 ways
You
on
bet.
Sunday. This is not the United States. Trying to influence a presidential election, favoring somebody who committed felonies, keeping her in the game, then turning their sights on the other candidate, then using a phony Russian dossier. None of this is right. And if we don't fix it, we're beyond Venezuela. This is now propaganda that would rival
scandal in
Pravda
U.S. history,
and the
Sean.
former Soviet Union. All right, guys.
Dangerous.
We'll have you both.